I'm Rhonda Jolliffe, nurse practitioner, hormone expert, and your menopause guide. Today I want to talk to you about a very important topic that affects many women at menopause and beyond, and that's anxiety and depression. Now, some of you might have experienced this throughout your life. In childhood, if you were one of those kids that just tend to be a little on edge, worried about things, maybe your parents, your school, anything that was going on, you tend to be a little more worrisome. You probably had a genetic component of anxiety. Maybe one of your parents just had a little anxiety as well. If you were that kid that was really laid back and really didn't care about anything and nothing bothered you, you probably don't have that genetic component. So anxiety can stem in childhood if you have the genes. But anxiety and depression can also happen when you're older. And so it can happen from various things, maybe a trauma or something that was traumatic at a certain time in your life. It could have been something as simple as in 8th grade, some girl told you you were stupid or dumb or ugly or fat. And that stuck in your brain, and that created a self-esteem issue that causes anxiety. And as we grow older, it can even become a post-traumatic stress type disorder. And so it can be something really simple, or it could be something really traumatic, like the death of a parent when you were young, or the death of a spouse when you're young, or the death of a child. So anything traumatic that has happened in your life can create this whole post-traumatic stress type disorder, which leads to anxiety. So if you're one of those, I would encourage you to seek help, to get some help with dealing with the post-traumatic stress that happened years ago. Now, if you're going through menopause and you really never had any issues with anxiety, and all of a sudden there's this thing that you don't know what you're feeling, and you might not even know it's anxiety because you've never experienced it before, this could be from a hormonal problem. And when we lose our progesterone and we lose our estrogen, that actually relates to how our neurotransmitters work, and so you can actually have a lot of mood disorders with menopause. Now, progesterone is the calming hormone, and progesterone starts declining at around age 35. So if you experience a little anxious, little anxiety in your late 30s, early 40s, and then boom, at menopause it just really crashes on you, that likely is because of a hormonal shift that's going on. The other thing about anxiety, if you've been depressed for years and have suffered from depression, and you just never really treated it to its full effect with counseling or medication or supplements or lifestyle, at menopause, it can come and turn into more of an anxiety type issue. So anxiety and depression go very hand in hand. The symptoms can be very similar. However, it seems to me that anxiety pops up more at menopause. So it's women that complain about this. Now, the other issue at menopause is insomnia. And keep in mind that during the night, our body rebuilds our neurotransmitters. So if we are not sleeping, our neurotransmitters aren't rebuilding, and thus you will have more anxiety during the day. So there's a lot of things that are involved around anxiety at menopause. So how can you help this? Well, obviously, we're looking at your whole hormonal system again, and your hormones are now relying on the adrenal glands. And your adrenal glands are that secrete out the cortisol, and that cortisol now becomes a manager of our moods, our energy, and our sleep. And so supporting your adrenal glands will indirectly help your anxiety. So I cannot stress enough how supporting your adrenal glands is your first step to controlling your anxiety. Managing your insomnia, make sure you're getting sleep at night from 11 to 7 of uninterrupted sleep will help your moods, your energy, and overall well-being immensely. So I cannot stress that enough. Now, if you're one of those that are becoming more panicky and you're having an everyday almost panic attack at some point in the day, I really encourage you to sit down with a practitioner and discuss this further. You may need a little more help in that first year or two of menopause. Because your body's going through such a change, it might be a drastic fluctuation that you can't handle alone. And lifestyle and supplements may not be enough. So I would encourage you to seek help on those issues, maybe a counselor or even your practitioner, to see if there's anything more that you should be doing, because you don't need to live like that. And when I talk about supporting the adrenal glands, if your body is anxious all day long, you're not supporting your adrenal glands at all. So we have to look at that and calm your system. So some of my favorites for anxiety. I love GABA. It's an amino acid that actually helps stimulate the GABA receptors, which are our calming receptors in our body. I also like L-theanine. L-theanine is an amino acid that slows down that mind chatter. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Most women kind of can relate when I say mind chatter, and men sometimes look at me at a funny, like, what do you mean by mind chatter? So mind chatter is when you're thinking about various things constantly. What happened yesterday? What happened today? What might not even happen, but you're worrying about it. So it calms that down. So a combination of GABA and L-theanine is really nice at bedtime. Also add in a little 5-HTP, which is another amino acid, and that one I usually like to recommend to take around 5 to 7 p.m. That works a little bit different and helps rebuild and stimulate the serotonin, which is our calming neurotransmitters. So you do that in the evening, take a little GABA and L-theanine at night, and that can work wonders. That doesn't work, and maybe even all together, if things are bad enough, a little melatonin at bedtime, 2 milligrams, is a nice get you to sleep into that deeper sleep where you can build up those neurotransmitters and help your anxiety during the day. Thanks for your time with me today. I put some additional resources so you can check those out below. Have a great evening.